Hi, this is me, Muhammad, an Excel expert, and in this video, I will walk you through how I have optimized and enhanced the client's complex Excel workbook. So this was the initial client's workbook, and it was already very well developed, but it requires some important kind of changes. First, let me walk you through what actually client requires in it. So the first thing the client requires is in the input sheet. So he wants a simple table there made with formulas to count up how many cells in this input tables are yellow, which means duplicate, how many are red, which means invalid entries, and and the other values. So I created a table there. I'll show you. First I will walk you through the changes, and he requires the macros to clear up the columns. So he requires macros for each column in the input sheet, like from H to N, and one macro for each column, and then the master macro for clearing up complete the input table. So and after this, in the daily results sheet, as you can see, the whole workbook gets auto refresh when the sheet was open, and it takes a lot more time. So he wants me to rewrite the complete macro to optimize it and to make its speed less in the loading time. Also, to add a refresh button for manual refreshing. So when the user clicks it, only then the sheet gets refreshed. Same for the combined sheet. The macro gets auto refresh, and he wants that it gets refreshed with this refresh button, and he wants some more columns in this table. So let me show you the workbook that I created for him. So this is the workbook first, and this is the input tab. In this, I was talking about this table that I created for him to count the red values, yellow, and the otherwise entries. All these are created with formulas, as you can see there. And then there is the macros that would be used to clear up the columns. Here, as you can see that I click it, all the data for this column gets uh, removed, and there is the master macro to remove all the input data. So when I click it, all the data will get removed. I'm not clicking it right now. So, and after this, I create in this with daily result sheets. As you can see, I jumped on it, and the whole workbook note gets refreshed immediately. I stopped the auto refresh button and added a manual refresh button too. So when the user click it, it gets refreshed. So I will show you how it's get refreshed very quickly. First, I select the day, like Monday, and then I will click the refresh button, and there you can see how fast it can get refreshed from the previous macro. It gets refreshed. So all the things done very clearly. These all of these cells and are calculated through in the VBA code. So initially there is the graphs there, and so in the previous workbook, all of these graphs are not labeled as these are right now. So I could investigate them deeply and give the proper headings for all of these three graphs. And below this, there are two tables present. This one was good, but in this some calculations are missing. So I sorted down their calculations in the VBA code. I'll show you the VBA code at the end. Let's move on to the last sheet of this workbook, which is combined result. So client wanted to add these three columns to in this table, and also the refresh button, which also of the auto refresh, so it notes get refreshed when the user entered in this sheet, and it was also very quickly. Just press it and it will get refreshed as soon as possible. So it was far more better than the previous refresh. So it gets refreshed, and all these calculations are manually verified by me, and all of these are working very perfect. So let me show you the VBA code. So the client's code was not really uh, simple. It was under the sheet. So I created a proper modes for these. So there will in total there are only four modes are used. to create the code for complete workbook. As you can see, this one was to just a scalability, which this mode was used inside the code, and this one for the daily refresh sheet, combined sheet, and for the clear column sheet. All these macros get rewrote and used properly. In these modules, I also write some kind of code. So these modules are fetched into these mode codes very perfectly through coding as so let me close this. At last, I applied some visual consistent formatting across the workbook so it looks more professional and not only looks functional but also looks polished and professional too. So as you can see, the whole workbook is now very clean at all as compared to the client's previous workbook. As you can see there, there is no alignment of the zoom size, also no kind of formatting there. So I'm there for this thing. So that's all for now. If you need similar kind of help with your workbook to optimize the VBA codes or to create any kind of system in the Excel or Google Sheets, I am here to help. Thank you.